Good morning. We're back with a brand new day. If I were to throw a question out there for us to put a hand up, if we were completely happy and satisfied with where we are right now, our hands may shoot up, but it's going to come back down. I could almost assume that everyone out there is looking for some form of change. We're looking to improve and to go back. If you're not familiar, today is 369. What does that mean for me? That means for the last 369 days, I made it a point to run at least 1 mile. Now, that change was made because, I reached a point in my life where I'm just like, man, I am not in good shape. I didn't want to be in bad shape, so what could I do? It felt almost overwhelming, to address what I was trying to address with my weight, with my fitness. But I figured, hey, I got to start somewhere. I was inspired, from a book I read that I'm familiar with called Atomic Habits. I was also inspired by a brother in my life, Duane Matungo, and I said, you know what, I could run 1 mile a day. So I started there. It was small. I started running 1 mile a day. And as I said just a while ago, today is day 369. So after a year and a couple of days, I'm down a little over 50 pounds. So yes, that's fitness. That may not be a problem for some of you all, but whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish, we need to make some type of change, some type of a real change. And sometimes that change, you have a higher success rate, I could say, if we start small, something that's attainable. I even had some people say, hey, are you gonna up it to 2 miles? Are you gonna up it to 1.5, whatever it is? I said, hey, my main goal is to be consistent because I want to make a change. I want to make a change. And there's probably 3 main things that could help any of us make a change in any aspect of our life. I'm gonna just call it gas. Like gas. Okay, what does GAS stand for? We need to have some type of goal, we need to have accountability, and we need to be steady. So my goal, I had a certain weight that I wanted to be under. That was my initial goal. My accountability was every single time that I ran, I would post something on social media, even if it was just for myself. Day 1, day 76. Day 113, I would get some comments. Some days maybe I didn't, but that was my accountability. And lastly, I had to be steady. I had to be consistent. It doesn't matter what happened in my life. I had to be consistent and factor in, I needed to get in at least my mile run. So in order to get change in my life, to see the success that I've seen in what I'm referring to regarding my health. And once again, this can be transferred over into other areas. I had to have gas. I had to have a goal. I had to be accountable, and I had to be steady. I had to be consistent because I wanted to change. One quick thing, remember, I'm a teacher, not a speaker. And when it comes to change, there are 2 different main types of changes. There's a physical change and there's a chemical change. That physical change is when we say we want to do something. If we stick to fitness, for example, we may post something on social media, beginning of the year, this is my smoothie. Then I'll see a couple weeks later, we got them wings or whatever it is we got going on. Not saying that wings are bad, but we're not being consistent. Okay. Now, physical change is just somewhat of a change in appearance. It's not a big deal. Chemical change is when the real change takes place. I'll use, I have a piece of paper, for example, right? If I were to take this paper, I could change it. I could write on it. I could ball it up. I could do some origami. I could make it into a piece of, I could make it into an airplane. At the end of the day, it's still paper. How can I make it go through a real change, a chemical change? Let's say I took a lighter and set this joker on fire. It's gonna start to burn up. I'm gonna see it's gonna go from being white to black. I'm gonna feel heat coming off of it. These are all examples of a chemical change. Something new is being produced. That's why if I could take hydrogen and oxygen, okay? Hydrogen is flammable. Oxygen, flammable. But when I bring them together chemically, I could make something known as H2O. That means that's liquid water. I could put out fire with liquid water. Hydrogen, flammable. Oxygen, flammable. But if I put it together chemically, I have H2O, I have water, I can have salt. Table salt is sodium and chlorine. If I were to touch pure sodium, it's gonna burn my skin. Severe burns. If I were to touch or inhale pure chlorine, that could be fatal. That would destroy my lungs. But sodium and chlorine together chemically produces table salt. And I could throw some on my fries, especially when they're hot and ready from McDonald's, right? And if I have it, of course, in moderation, it's not going to be fatal to me. It's going through a real change, a chemical change. The difference is between a physical change, a change in almost the appearance, and a chemical change. A real change is with a chemical change, it happens on a molecular level, on an atomic level. So that means it's in the small things. So if we want to make a real change in whatever it is, we're going to start small. And remember, gas. We're gonna have our goals, we're gonna be accountable, and we're gonna be steady. Remember, I'm a speaker, not a teacher. And I look forward to see the changes that we make in our life. Let's have an amazing day.